a Hall of Famer, former Chicago Bear, great defensive end, tackle, a guy who played hurt, unlike some guys nowadays. Dan Hampton, how you doing, Dan?
Hey, good afternoon, guys. Just enjoying another gorgeous snowy day in Chicago.
Exactly. We just had Raphael Wright on. He's down in Texas. He was meeting with the Super Bowl people, and he's saying that Super Bowl is great for Dallas. You don't realize how much it affects the town.
Well, and when I first heard about obviously now the NFL is awarding, the people that want to invest in new stadiums the opportunity to have a Super Bowl, and of course Jerry Jones built the mausoleum, so he gets it. But I was looking at the weather forecast next week. I'm going to be down there. It looks like it's going to be 45, 46 degrees, so unfortunately it's not going to be like it was in Miami a couple of years ago.
Well, as long as you're going to have it in cold weather climates, you might as well have a Super Bowl in Chicago, don't you think?
One of these days we may be unfortunate enough to be a part of that, Elliott.
It doesn't look like the Bears are going to be in one, so they might as well bring the Super Bowl to us.
And talking about the Bears, and David, I heard what you said about the fact that some people don't play hurt. I don't know. If it's a different day, a different time. I personally was amazed at the outcry, how everybody, wanted to basically throw Cutler out with the bathwater and say, what a punk. And I've had that injury. You don't know until you walk in his shoes. I played a lot of games with, damaged goods. But I knew what I was doing. I was used to it. I had no choice. And, the first time you get hurt, it takes a while to kind of understand what you're capable of and what you're not. I don't know. I'm not going to blame him, but I will tell you this. I cannot believe that the Bears squandered an opportunity like they had. It may be a long, long time till the Bears have home field advantage in an NFC championship game, because the Packers, with everybody on injured reserve this year, still overcame that, and they're in the Super Bowl. They're not going away. The Detroit Lions, they're better and better the last couple of years with their new coach and the addition of guys like Ndamukong Suh. They get their quarterback healthy. They ain't going away. So it may be a long time till the Bears get an opportunity like that, and it was just a damn shame to see how things kind of fell apart on them back here at home.
Yeah, and don't forget the Minnesota Vikings.
Well, they still, and again, and I don't understand. And, the one thing about Ditka, his very first draft, he drafted McMahon. Now, whether you like him or hate him or whatever, Jim didn't play a whole lot of games. He never was healthy. But he was a bona fide quarterback, a first-round draft pick quarterback. And for a lot of teams to think that they could just get a also-ran or a stopgap fill-in, look what the common denominator was in the NFC and AFC championship games. It was first-round draft pick quarterbacks that were, obviously not only supremely talented that were, in college, but, they had done what they needed to do to put themselves in a position to become one of the better quarterbacks in the league. So, I don't know. Minnesota, they got a lot of talent. I don't know how long the window's going to be open. Their defense is starting to show some wear. But if they get a big-time quarterback, and, there's a chance that they could get Donovan McNabb. There's some other guys that may make them a little better, but until they get a quarterback, it's still going to be Detroit and Green Bay that Chicago is going to have to worry with.
I'll tell you what, if I were to start a franchise, a guy wanted quarterback, I know a lot of people think I'm nuts, is the Steeler quarterback, Roethlisberger. This guy has won 2 Super Bowls, is in his 3rd. He is durable. He runs. He played on a bad leg this year. You cannot stop that guy.
There's a lot to like. The almost refusal to give up on a play, the willpower that he shows, extending it to the last nanosecond, trying to get the ball to a playmaker, it's unbelievable. Now, I don't know how long it's going to last. I mean, and sooner or later, somebody's going to catch him and really hurt him. And, at that point, then it becomes a crapshoot how long he can stay healthy. But until then, he has been amazing. And I like you, David, love his willingness to compete. And, yeah, sure, we wish that, other quarterbacks may have that trait, but I don't think anybody shows that. And maybe even Aaron Rodgers, his willingness to he's much more fleet of foot. He's able to extend the play by moving around outside the pocket, where Roethlisberger basically just kind of slides around, hunkers down and does what he does within a little radius of 4 or 5 yards there. But, man, is he amazingly effective. And again, that offense only becomes more dangerous when he does that.
Okay. Speaking of Aaron Rodgers, Julius Peppers gets fined $10,000 for a helmet-to-helmet hit by the NFL. Bears fans are saying, oh, that wasn't a bad hit. The NFL disagreed. If you don't hit the guy high, you avoid that. Guys just seem to be going higher and higher these days in tackling guys. If he goes for the body, he still accomplishes the goal of getting the quarterback, right?
Well, here's the big picture. And this is what's going on. The reason they fined James Harrison and all the other guys is the NFL has been alerted by its legal staff that and David, take note, in our world of litigation today, let's put it that way, that somebody is going to not get up and somebody is going to file some lawsuits against the NFL saying you did nothing to stop the excessive violence and the striking towards the head and the spine. And so trying to get ahead of this deal, they're trying to say, oh, well, we fined, and look at all this we did. We tried to stop it. We're legislating it. And so that's where all this comes from. Now, reality is you're in a playoff game. You're Julius Peppers. You're down 2 touchdowns, and you have a chance to hit the quarterback that spent 3 weeks on the sidelines with a concussion this year in the head. $10,000 is getting off cheap in my mind. And that's just the realities of it. Now, he'd never admit that. And, of course, the defense would never admit, the coordinator or any coaches would admit that. But that's the way it works. And, what gives you the best chance of winning? Playing against him or Matt Flynn? Well, do the math. So, Julius Peppers, and I'm not saying he willfully did it, but, look, when you're playing, titty bump, and when you're trying to strike somebody with the kind of force that could rock their world and put them on the sidelines. And if you look at it, I don't think Aaron Rodgers was even a threat after that. The Packers kind of flopped around the rest of the game and didn't score points. So, yeah, I think the precedent has been set for our friends in Pittsburgh. And, yeah, you know what? James Harrison may be saying, if I get a little backup here, maybe I'll go ahead and lay a couple of shots on this guy early, and we'll see how effective he's going to be in the second, third, and fourth quarter.
Would Buddy Ryan have put a hit out on Aaron Rodgers if he was coaching the Bear defense back in the day?
It's funny. You say, what do you put a hit out? Obviously, being in Chicago, that's loose talk that could get people hurt. What we would do is basically say something along the lines of, hey, that guy is a smart-ass, and he caused, he the longer he plays, the more problems he causes. It'd be great if he wasn't playing. Wink, wink. So, I don't know. Does somebody infer that maybe it would be better if this guy didn't complete the actual 60-minute game? I don't know. But we will always look, and you can go back and look at it. There wasn't nothing illegal, nothing after the whistle, but we played it out, man. And we put tattoos on people. And, yeah, if there was some collateral damage and, the so-called opposition had to play with their second or third or fourth-string quarterback, the better for us, because that's what we're in the business of winning, not making friends.
You crippled Hipple.
Well, it was him and Joe Ferguson, and just go right down the line.
It's a pretty long
Joe
list.
Theismann says he never was the same after we played him in the '84 championship game. So, and that's great. That's great to hear. And sure, what were we trying to do? We were trying to do everything we could to not only stop the opposition, but give ourselves the best chance of winning. And a lot of that has to do with that intimidation factor. And don't tell me that if you line up as a quarterback against a team much like the Carolina Panthers that don't put a lot of fear in a quarterback, or you line up against the Pittsburgh Steelers, which led the NFL in quarterback sacks, which one's going to get in the back of your head and make it a little bit more uncomfortable while you sleep that week of preparation? So, yeah, we tried to use everything to our advantage, not only the actual abilities that we had on the field, but some of the psychological warfare that was possible too.
Now, Jay Cutler, next season after, whenever, that target on him does it instead of going after the helmet, do you go after the legs, even if not intentionally or whatever?
Well, you'd hate to think it. Here's the thing. When Cutler actually, got nicked up, left the game, and everybody goes, "What did you think about him getting hurt?" I said, it's sort of like when I heard about Elvis dying. I said, what took it so long? I mean, have you seen a picture of him? Well, what took Cutler so long? How could he stand in against that beating that he was subjected to all year? Was it 52 sacks in the regular season? This guy, and untold other shots, I mean, where they would rock his ass. And you know what? I was amazed that he was able to last this long. And that being said, who's the genius that told him to go out there without a brace on that left leg? If you look at Tom Brady, he's got a brace on that plant leg, doesn't he? If you look at Phillip Rivers, he's got why? Because they didn't have one until they got hurt, and now they do. So I don't understand. A quarterback is not like a running back, a receiver that has to look for the smallest margins to where they take out every pad and every weight related item to try to make themselves fat. You would think trying to protect yourself like they do with those stupid rib pads and the back pads and the chest protector plates and all that stuff. First things first. If you can't stand up, if you can't take the snap, you're useless. So let's protect the legs the best we can. And Jay Cutler had virtually nothing on his knees, and for him to be able to not only take the beating that he did, and nobody kind of think preemptively, hey, we need to make sure we put the braces on this kid because of the beating he's taken. Well, I think it was kind of foolish, and maybe we'll see next year that it's not going to be that way.
You know what pissed me off was the first series. They had 3 plays over 20 yards. What is the defensive coordinator and Lovie Smith doing? You got to stop it, but they give this cushion. Buddy Ryan would never let that happen.
Yeah, but again, David, that was a long time ago, and at two different mindsets. And to their credit, the Bears were able to hang around. But the weakness, the Achilles of the cover 2, the Lovie 2, is exactly what you got when the Packers took the field and took advantage of it. If you have the skill set at quarterback and a receiver like Jennings, like Jordy Nelson, that know how to hit that skinny post and hit it between the corner and the safety, it's virtually open until you get down to the red zone. And they showed that, it's there for the taking. And, yeah, if you don't like it, then you need to find another team because it looks like not only is Lovie going to get an extension, but Rod Marinelli and this defense is going to be here in Chicago for probably the next 5 years.
They're going to need some new linemen, aren't they, for that defense?
Every team needs to, everybody's always looking for the difference maker on the line, whether it's an offensive lineman or defensive lineman. But let's make no mistake about it. Elliott, the one thing I really had disagreements in my mind philosophically with the Bears and their coaches are, Julius Peppers is a hell of a player. Great. Well, Izzy Adonijay should be a 3 technique. He doesn't have the special quick twitch fiber to be outside. I can see it. McMichael see it. Guys that played the position for a dozen years that have a little bit of credibility. We see it, but obviously these geniuses can't. But next year, if they've got a brain, if they can't draft someone reasonably high and find a 3 technique that is a difference maker, or a 340-pound nose tackle that can make an impact like the B.J. Raji character they have up in Green Bay, then if I was them, I would say, Corey Wooten, we need you at 275, 280, and we need you to work hard in the weight room and get more athletic and hopefully recover and get some more of that quick twitch fiber back from your knee injury. But let him play left end, move Izzy and Donijay to the 3, and then let Matt Tone, Anthony Adams, and the first-round draft pick that hopefully, or the second-round draft pick, will hopefully do his due diligence and bring in. There's no question that left offensive tackle is priority 1. When you got a $22 million a year quarterback and you virtually have a cast-off fill-in at left tackle, well, you're pretty dumb. It's like putting your Maserati out on the street at midnight in a bad neighborhood.